There's a political firestorm that's broken out as expected in India over the US court indictment against Gautam Adani and his associates. Now, while the Congress has been going after the BJP, demanding a joint parliamentary committee investigation, demanding the arrest of Gautam Adani, what's also in focus right now is a number of regional parties and the Congress too. Because while the Congress was in power in Chhattisgarh, you had the YSRCP in power in Andhra Pradesh, the DMK in power in Tamil Nadu. And in these states, it was when they were in power that allegedly these bribes were handed over to the state government. So now what really is their defense in light of these allegations and charges that they were involved in these corrupt deals? Let's tell you in our next report about the reactions, and then we'll break this down further for you.
The indictment of billionaire Gautam Adani by a US court has created ripples in India. Adani is facing trial in New York for not disclosing to American investors information about bribing government officials in India. At the heart of the scandal is a solar power deal between Adani Green Energy and the Solar Energy Corporation of India, or SECI, which in turn struck deals to supply power to Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Chhattisgarh and Jammu and Kashmir. 3 out of the 4 parties that were in power in the states have reacted to charges that government officials were offered 2,029 crore rupees in bribes by the Adani company to seal the deals. Jagan Mohan Reddy was the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh when the deal to buy 7 gigawatts from SECI was struck. The US indictment alleges 1,750 crores were offered for this deal. The YSRCP has claimed there was no direct involvement with the Adani Group and clarified the agreement was between the state power distribution firm and the central government's SECI. Current Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu, the arch-rival of Jagan Reddy, is treading cautiously.
Andhra Pradesh Pratishtha brand kuda debbadine vidhanga pravartincharu. Manu ee vidhanga cheppukogalugutam అనే పరిస్థితి వస్తుంది. వాస్తవాలను వచ్చిన తర్వాత ఎప్పటికప్పుడు అవన్నీ కూడా అధ్యయనం చేసుకొని ఏం చేయాలో చేస్తూనే మళ్ళా మీకు ఇన్ఫార్మ్ చేస్తాం.
The DMK, which is in power in Tamil Nadu, dismissed allegations of bribery.
1500 மெகாவாட் மின்சாரம் கொள்முதல் செய்வதற்கான ஒப்பந்தங்கள் செய்யப்பட்டன. அதுவும் சோலார் எனர்ஜி கார்ப்பரேஷன் ஆஃப் இந்தியா லிமிடெட் மத்திய எரிசக்தி துறையினுடைய ஒரு அங்கம், அதனுடைய நிறுவனம். அதில் தான் ஒப்பந்தம் செய்யப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. ஆனால் தமிழ்நாட்டை பொறுத்தவரை அதானி நிறுவனத்திற்கும் தமிழ்நாடு மின்சார வாரியத்திற்கும் எந்த விதமான நேரடி தொடர்பும் இல்லை.
Former Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bribe'gate blamed the previous BJP government under Raman Singh for the deal.
छत्तीसगढ़ में जितने भी अडानी को खदान मिले हैं, पावर प्लांट मिले हैं, वो सब भारतीय जनता पार्टी के शासनकाल में या तो राज्य सरकार में रमन सिंह जब मुख्यमंत्री थे तब मिला, या केंद्र सरकार में 2015 में 14 के बाद जब प्रधानमंत्री बने मोदी तब उसके बाद मिला है.
The BJD, which was in power in Odisha, has remained tight-lipped.
ये अदानी इशू पे हम
अभी नहीं बोलेंगे.
सुनिए सर, एक मिनट.
नहीं बोलेंगे भाई साहब, क्लियर नहीं हुआ है वो. जब क्लियर होगा सेकंड हाफ पे करेंगे.
With the US indictment claiming bribery in India, the big question is, will there be a probe here? An investigation can be ordered by any of the states or the central government. But so far, all have kept silent on that. Bureau Report, India Today.
So let's just simplify for you what are the allegations against these state governments, and we'll explain for you what the alleged bribery deal is here, what's the role of the Adani Group as well as the other company here called Azure Power. So here's what happened essentially. The power supply agreement structure, the first initial awards, the letter of award was issued back in 2019, in December 2019. It was given to 2, Adani Greens as well as Azure Power, which is owned by a Canadian. Now this was facilitated, essentially brought together by the SECI, which is the Solar Energy Corporation of India. It's a government of India body. Now from here you move forward to the power deals, the power supply agreements, and here's where the state governments come into question. There are several states, 5 in all. First you've got the Andhra Pradesh government. This was in 2021, December 1st, where you had in fact a 2,000 megawatt deal. The allegation here is that the maximum bribes, where we talk about over $200 million bribes, most of it went to Andhra Pradesh. The first deal was in Andhra. And then you had also with the Odisha government, 500 megawatts. So actually, before, in fact, Andhra Pradesh, there were several others signed. But you look at really the details and the scale, it's the largest in Andhra. So you have Odisha also here with 500 megawatts on July 22nd. Let's talk about Chhattisgarh. That time, there was the Congress in power because this was in August 2021. Tamil Nadu under DMK, and finally Jammu and Kashmir under central government rule. These are the 5 states essentially that have been named. So remember that in 2021, Andhra Pradesh under Jagan Mohan Reddy, Odisha under, in fact, the BJD. You had Chhattisgarh under the Congress, Tamil Nadu under the DMK, Jammu and Kashmir under central government rule. Let's talk now about Andhra Pradesh first. Apurva Jayachandran is joining us with more details on what really the YSRCP's defense is here, Apurva. What really has the YSRCP done to combat this political storm now that's hit them?
The YSRCP has given a very strong statement there. In fact, they have said that there hasn't been any kind of links tied to Adani.
Also goes on and also states that this kind of, blame game that is going on, this has nothing to do with the YSRCP. In fact, the YSRCP also goes on and reiterates that they have gone in and made with this kind of talks, this kind of links there with respect to the said plant. In fact,
to the said plant, the 7,000
which is in question there. In fact, the YSRCP also goes on and tells that they have gone ahead and done this as part of the proposal that had been taken ahead. In the statement that has been issued by the YSRCP yesterday, the party very clearly says that there hasn't been any wrongdoing that the party had taken through this sale and this proposal of solar power, solar plant that had been set in motion, the MOUs and the geo orders that had since been published. In fact, the YSRCP led government there, they said that this had happened during the last, this had happened during the last tenure, that is during their period. But all that had happened was what was continuation of the talks that had gone on, especially with
for more details. But let's also talk right now about the nitty-gritties that have come to the fore in this particular case. And one of the questions that emerge really when you talk about the fallout of this entire controversy is, what does this mean for the Adani Group? It's a powerhouse, of course, of India's multinational landscape and is facing now mounting challenges as global investors are hesitating following serious legal troubles.
For a group which is today one of India's largest multinational conglomerates, the doors to global fundraising may slowly be closing, at least in the short term, till legal proceedings reach closure. The US indictment of Group Chairman Gautam Adani, his nephew Sagar Adani and 6 others in cases of bribery and fraud is likely to keep international investors and lenders away from the group. The fallout has already begun. The group took a hit when it was forced to scrap a $600 million bond issue in the US as the news of the indictment broke. This brought back memories of the 20,000 crore rupee FPO the group was forced to abandon in January 2023 after the Hindenburg allegations.
Information that has been provided to us.
Kenya has also cancelled airport and power purchase deals that are said to be worth $2.5 billion with the Adani Group.
The information that has been provided to us by partner nations. I have directed agencies within the Ministry of Transport and the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum to immediately cancel the ongoing procurement process for JKI expansion public-private partnership transaction, as well as the recently concluded Ketrago transmission in public and immediately commence the process of onboarding alternative partners, because these are important projects.
One of the crown jewels of the group, Adani Ports, along with 2 other companies, Adani Green Energy and Adani Electricity, have seen their ratings outlook cut to negative. Ratings agency S&P says the US indictment could affect investor confidence in Adani Group entities, thereby potentially impairing their funding access and increasing their funding costs. The report adds that their cash flows could be materially affected, their funding costs could rise significantly, it could also result in non-renewal of facilities or significantly higher interest rates. S&P also says the allegations could renew questions over the group's governance practices and damage its reputation. According to the agency, Adani Group needs regular access to both equity and debt markets given its large growth plans, in addition to its regular refinancing. The impact on the stock markets was immediate on Thursday, with investors in Adani stock losing 2.28 lakh crore rupees, though several companies saw buying today. The bond markets also reflected the bearish sentiment, with prices across Adani Group companies falling sharply. The Adani companies have long-established infrastructure assets with strong fundamentals and cash flows. It says the firms currently have sufficient cash flows, adequate liquidity, and face no significant refinancing needs. As of 31st March 2024, the Adani Group had 2.41 lakh crore rupees in total debt. Of this, a little over 88,000 crore is from Indian lenders. Around 26% of the debt is from overseas lenders, while around 70,000 crore has been raised through global and domestic bonds. The Adani Group also had a cash balance of 59,791 crore rupees as on 31st March, enough for 30 months of debt payment. Meanwhile, according to Bloomberg, SEBI is looking into whether Adani Green Energy failed to properly disclose the US Justice Department's investigation into bribery allegations. The report says the fact-finding could last 2 weeks, following which SEBI will decide on a formal investigation. Bureau Report, Business Today.
And we've got the first statement coming in from the BJD, which remember was in power when allegedly the deal with Adani Group was signed in Odisha. They've denied a direct role in the Adani Bribe'gate. The Odisha government was, remember, named in the US indictment. Naveen Patnaik was the chief minister when these alleged bribes were given. But the BJD maintains that the solar power contract was with the centre. And this is essentially the clarification that's coming from most of these states. They say that the deal was done with the SECI, which is the Solar Energy Corporation of India, and they had no dealings whatsoever with the Adani Group. So the BJD also making it very clear that they have absolutely nothing to do with, in fact, the Adani Group. So there's no question of receiving any sort of kickbacks or bribes. So we've told you about really the clarification that's come in from the BJD, that's come in on the Odisha government's charges. Let's talk about the other states. So we'll put out that graphic again that we showed you earlier today of, in fact, the states and their alleged role in receiving bribes. And as we, in fact, move on from Odisha, let's also talk about Tamil Nadu right now and get in Shilpa Nair on that. Shilpa, take us through really what the Tamil Nadu government's defense has been in light of these allegations.
Well, Akshita, as far as the Tamil Nadu government is concerned, the electricity minister here, Sendil Balaji, clarified yesterday that ever since the DMK came to power in 2021, for the last 3 years, as far as the power department is concerned, there's not been any direct relationship or any commercial relationship with the Adani Group. That is the clarification that Sendil Balaji, the electricity minister, said. He, of course, went on to say that keeping in mind the power requirements of the state state government had signed a pact with the SECI, which is the Solar Energy Corporation of India, a central government entity, for purchasing 1,500 megawatts of power at a cost of rupees 2.61 per unit for a period of 25 years. Now, this was essentially the contract that the Tamil Nadu government signed. So, the Sendil Balaji, the electricity minister, says, look, our deal was with the centre. It's a central government entity. We've not had any direct connection or relationship or business relationship with the Adani government. Therefore, these allegations don't stick, is what Sendil Balaji, of course, said. And today, of course, when we spoke to several DMK leaders, they're also saying that, if at all the centre believes the fault lies with the state governments, then what's stopping them from carrying out an investigation? They might as well ask the CBI or the ED to probe these alleged irregularities, and whoever is responsible, whoever has taken bribes, let them be arrested, is what the DMK says, clearly putting the ball in the centre's court. But clearly, as far as the opposition parties here are concerned, be it the main opposition party, which is the AIDMK, there's been a conspicuous silence from the side of the AIDMK. The opposition leader here, Edapadi K. Palliswamy, is yet to even give a reaction on these allegations, on the fact that Tamil Nadu has been mentioned in that US court document. So clearly, at this point in time, there's a blame game that's going on between the centre and the state. As far as the DMK government is concerned, they say we've not had any direct business relationship with the Adani Group. As far as the power sector is concerned, the last 3 years, we only had a pact with this SECI, which is a central government entity. Therefore, none of these allegations...
defense that's essentially coming in from all of the states, saying they have absolutely nothing to do with Adani Green. They have absolutely nothing to do with the Adani Group. This was with the SECI. I want to bring in Sumi Rajapan. She's joining us live from Raipur in Chhattisgarh too. There's a similar controversy. Sumi, you've spoken to Congress leaders who were in power in 2021. What has been their defense? Similar to the likes of what Tamil Nadu or Andhra are maintaining?
Yes, absolutely. Chhattisgarh is also maintaining the same stance. In fact, yesterday, when we spoke with the former Chhattisgarh Chief Minister, who also was the Power Minister back in 2021, when the entire PSA, that is the Power Sale Agreement, was signed between SECI and the Adani Greens, it was completely clear. In fact, Bhupesh Baghel seconded what Rahul Gandhi was maintaining, that a joint parliamentary committee probe should be made into the all Adani transactions that have happened during the time. And in fact, T.S. Singh-Dev, who also was handling the power portfolio between July 2023 to December 2023, also mentioned the same thing, that he was neither the Power Minister nor the Deputy Chief Minister when this entire deal was made. And in fact, he also maintained that if the JPC probe is done, the results should be made public so that people should know and the entire process that has happened and gone beyond the PSA. And in fact, Chhattisgarh's government is also completely silent on this regard. BJP government is in power right now in Chhattisgarh. However, the Congress government is completely buying this whole thing, that Rahul Gandhi, whatever he has said, that it is bringing shame to the entire nation that an Indian citizen is indulged in such a bribery scam. And in fact,
such a circumstance, you've got every party involved saying very clearly they were in communication only with the SECI, with the Solar Energy Corporation of India, and they had no dealings whatsoever with the Adani Group. The question is, if these allegations are true, who really received these alleged kickbacks? Who received these alleged bribes? You've got all the parties denying their role. Thanks, Sumi. Thanks, Shilpa, for getting us all of those details. We will, of course, continue to track this, because in many of the states, this has created huge ripples, with demands also for a detailed investigation to be held against these parties.